Hey everybody, my name is Rakima Glimp and welcome to your first edition of
Jetsetting Juniors,
where we talk about all the fun things to be doing overseas when you're traveling as a family. For me, I started traveling when my kid was barely 6 months old. First trip being to Puerto Rico, second one all the way to Africa. And we never stopped. To date, this guy has been over to plus maybe 80 something countries and counting. And this is a lifestyle, literally. We haven't always been able to go to the fanciest resorts or fly in first class, but there was definitely places where we started and it has evolved over time. And so we are hoping that we can take you along for our ride as we introduce you to each and every one of those countries. For the good, the bad, the ugly, and in between, this is what we plan to do with this channel.
Stay tuned as we bring to you our first episode of Jetsetting Juniors, Dominican Republic.
Now, for a lot of you who are wondering sort of, what does she mean by taking a kid to the Dominican Republic? This is what I mean. Oftentimes, the world tells us kids don't belong here, they shouldn't go there. And the truth is that the more and more I uncover on my own, the more and more I realize that that is all about the independent perspective of the person, right? My son has been all over the world and we have seen quite a bit of things. And so to go into the Caribbean islands and to not explore a country that's available to us just seems ridiculous. So on my dad's 75th birthday, I said, you know what, son? Let's get out of here. Let's go. Let's go check out the Dominican Republic. And boy, oh boy, was I impressed. And also was I surprised to realize that you can experience any of these countries in any of the ways you want to experience them, so long as you do the work ahead of time. Stay tuned as we take you through our top places and as we talk you through a little bit about the do's and the don'ts and the favorites and the least favorites coming to you soon. So during our vacation, we decided to go stay at a place called the HardRock Cafe. Now, some of you guys probably know HardRock Cafe. I did not. I don't stay at the HardRock Cafe. Normally, we are trying places like Marriott. We are trying places like Hilton's. We are even trying places like the Four Seasons or the Ritz-Carlton, depending on where you are in the world. Because for those of us who travel in these fashions, we understand that these things are franchised. And so what you get is what you get, which means there's no continuity or consistency the way that you might find with a Marriott hotel or a Hilton hotel. Okay, so HardRock got a strong A pass for us for all the things. Kid friendly, family friendly, all the restaurants you can think of, all the things that you can do. Literally all self-contained in one environment. I'm gonna get to that later in the video, but for now, I'm gonna let you know a little bit about the top places that we visited while we were there, and then some of my favorite things, some of my kids' favorite things, and then some of our least favorite things. So, we visited a place called El Macao, which has a large constituency of cow butchers there. We went to La Salva, which is actually, to our surprise, it's a Haitian migrant community. Their migrant workers tend to be Haitian backgrounds. We did Les Horta Banda. I think I'm saying that right. And we went there because we wanted to see the local markets. We love food. We love chasing vegetables. And we love chasing nice produce. Okay, Les Horta Banda. And then a lot of the expats that are within the DR, they're hanging out in Punta Cana, which is where the HardRock is located, all right? If you need some really great food, one of the recommendations we had gotten was La Casita de Yaya. That's in Punta Cana. It's a Dominican restaurant, which is downtown Punta Cana. So try to get there if you can. All right, when I think about our favorite things, listen, the beaches are amazing, okay? We have been all over the world. Again, plus 80 countries just for my 12-year-old alone. And what I can tell you is the beach is amazing. Grab a cabana early in your stay, do some pre-booking and chill out. If you go to the HardRock or if you go to any of the other hotels, because the oceans are so amazing, the beaches are so amazing, you have got to book those cabanas ahead of time. Make sure you book them ahead of time. The hotel rooms were legit. Now, a lot of things you'll see online, TripAdvisor, so on and so forth, will tell you, hey, careful, because sometimes these photos be looking away and then you get up in there And it's an old hotel that they've tried to do, a little bit of lipstick on the pig, so to speak. Hard Rock is legit. Good size, good comfortable beds, no problem. So I was here for that. Like I said, plenty of things to do. The hotels all have excursions. We definitely did a couple of excursions. I'll get to that at a later point. Lots of friendly faces and attitudes, y'all. Some places we have traveled to around the world, folks have not been friendly. They have not been friendly. Let's just put it that way, okay? Not friendly. Here in the Dominican Republic, I mean smiles, gentle spirits, nice, humble folk. Folks who, even when I witnessed other people being nasty, by the way, I had to say something, okay? We'll get to that on a different episode. The folks still had a pleasant attitude and pleasant energy, so I really, really love that. Tours. All right, so my son and I, we are adventure explorers. We are used to doing tours. We're used to going into 4 of the countries and stuff. Here, the tours definitely feel touristy. So it's good to get out of the resorts to go see some of the local conditions and stuff. But I don't want to sell you down the river with this whole tour thing. It definitely felt like it was touristy. Most of the people going to the DR, going for adult-like behavior. I'm going to tell you right now that whether I was on the resort or I actively looked for things to do, there were things to be done for the children as well. In the hotel room, one of the things that kind of made me give a side eye is that I didn't find no robes, no slippers, no nothing, but whatever. We'll get past that. Everything has a cost. So at the Hard Rock Hotel, you're paying for everything. Bowling, you're paying for massages, you're paying for, if you want that tomahawk steak, that's a whole different restaurant from the 13 that they got on board. So you can certainly be there and not pay anything, or you can certainly be there and pay a little bit more. It's up to you. If you're into Dominican food, like I said, you really do need to get off of the resort, okay? Things to know. All right, so make sure you brush up on your Spanish. We are not folks who speak a lot of fluent Spanish. Most people didn't speak a lot of English. If at best it was broken, get your Spanish together, okay? It's a whole flex when you can be respectful of other people's countries. And that was a lesson learned for us. The next time we go, we will be much more fluent. The airport was great. Make sure you arrive at that airport with enough time. I got there 3.5 hours early. Of course, my dad and my son were complaining. However, there's nothing worse than missing your flight. So get there 3.5 hours early. If you're gonna stay at the hotel, grab a copy of your bill the night before because their checkout processes are a little bit too slow for me. I'm used to rapid fire checkout processes, and I had talked to several people on the premises before we'd even checked out, and they said, hey, be very careful because your wait period is gonna be long if you don't get that bill pre-printed for yourself so that you can reflect on it and deal with that, settle it before you even up against the wire to get up out of there. So make sure you get that bill ahead of time. Make sure you schedule your pickup and your drop off at the airport. I'm here for people who do not want to pay the extra money. Pay the extra money. Bring a few bathing suits. Dominican Republic is actually quite humid. So, even when your bathing suits and stuff, when they dry, they got a funny smell. They're not drying right. So just bring a couple of extra suits. They also sell suits galore. So let's be clear. My son walked out of there with a matching top, with matching bottoms, and a pair of glasses and thought he was all that in a bag of chips. So if you don't have a couple of pairs, make sure you bring a little bit of extra money so that you can go ahead and get you some. The next thing is a step tracker. Oh my goodness. So my Apple Watch never ever worked as hard as it did while I was at the Hard Rock in Punta Cana. Okay, this is not me complaining. Let me be clear. I'm not complaining at all. And I was clocking in 15,000, 16,000 steps. Why? Because the property is massive. So do not be afraid of that point though, because they have little trolleys coming through that's carrying some of our older friends or some of our abilities challenge friends. They're trolleys systems throughout the entire property. So if you don't want to walk, you don't have to walk. Me, I'm trying to get my steps, trying to get my figure together, trying to show my son that, look, we need to be active so we can have good, healthy lives. Plus, let's be clear. My son is absolutely full of all the energy and is here for all the mess. So he wants to walk, but he don't want to walk. He wants to power walk and climb the stairs and run and ride the bikes. Okay. Anyways, you get my point. My point is wear a little tracker so that you can pat yourself on the back, feel proud of it, right? When we're back home in the stateside or wherever your home is, ask yourself, do you move that much? Really? I mean, I feel like I walk the dog. I get my kid to and from where he's going. I move not that much. So That is a really good one for people who are into fitness because you are definitely going to be on the beach. You're going to be walking a lot. You're going to be on the property. There's a basketball court. There's bikes. There's a gym. There's all kinds of things to keep yourself active if you are someone who is very active in that way. So make sure you make it happen. Woo! This next one is hurting my feelings. Sunscreen, y'all. Bring your sunscreen. Bring your sunscreen. Why do I want you to bring your sunscreen? Because my skin burned. I mean, my face, my nose, everything was burning. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? There is a myth that African Americans, Black folks do not burn. It is false. It is a falsehood. It is fake news. Absolutely not. Do not go into these types of regions without your sunscreen. Care about your skin, because I'm telling you, after like day 2 of my skin hurting, I literally was like, am I giving myself a skin problem? Like, is it gonna surface while I'm here, or is it gonna happen later down the road? Most hotels, they got babysitting, they got kids clubs, teen clubs, all the things. As a traveling parent, that has always been critical for me. So you will see on a lot of our episodes, I'm talking about teen clubs, kids clubs, babysitting, all of that. I do not stay at hotels that don't offer that. And if I stay at a place that doesn't offer that, it's because I've already integrated my kid into whatever it is I'm doing in that country. Whether I am there for him specifically, or I am there because I'm working, or I'm there because I'm nosy and I just want to get to know other people's cultures. Bottom line is traveling, and as a parent, you need those options. And so I would say consider making sure that you're thinking about that. Okay. The other thing is, thinking about, what else you want to get out of the trip. What do you want to get out of the trip? What do you want to be doing in these countries? Dominican Republic was a pleasant surprise. We didn't want to leave. None of us wanted to leave the place. Literally, we were kicking and screaming as we were being pulled to the airport on the day of departure. My dad was sad. My son was sad. Nobody wanted to leave. Why? Because as much as we travel, we had never really been in an environment where to be there wasn't super expensive. To be there, you didn't have to wear different things on your shoulders. Like, I didn't have to care about being a Black woman, overseas. Why? Because I'm surrounded by brownness and blackness and whiteness and all the things. It wasn't highlighted the same way it is for us in some of the countries that we travel to. So as a result, my kid just got to be a kid. He's surf riding on a surf thing that they got at the resort. He is, playing around with goats. We got to give goats milk. Literally, we both were feeling like honorary parents to the goat community. But we had the best time. We tried all the food. We tried the local drinks, all the things. So needless to say, Dominican Republic is definitely on my list. The Hard Rock Hotel gets a firm A from us. And we are going to show you some top highlights about the country, and we hope that you enjoy. At the end of the day, if you've got questions even after this, let's connect. Let's talk. We didn't get to go down to some of the other regions. We literally stayed within that Punta Cana sort of area, and we branched off into the neighboring communities and that sort of thing. So I can't speak on behalf of all of the DR, but I can say where we went, what we did, it worked for the family unit. My son had a great time. It wasn't hyper inappropriate. It was just a good time had by everybody. So stay tuned to the next episode as we embark on our next country. You want me to tell you what country? Not at all. See you on the next time. Adios.